Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Block 9 Podcast Live Lounge. Evening, everyone. How are we doing on this fine Thursday evening? Now, I'm sure there's a lot of you that if you weren't there in person today, or tonight even, at the Fans Forum, were there watching it on YouTube. I was trying to listen in, got the crux of the presentation. To be fair, didn't hear too many of the questions after that, though, as I was trying to just get ready for this with Gavin. So anyway, welcome to the Block 9 podcast tonight, where we are going to discuss the Fans Forum, but we're going to do that a little bit later. We're going to come to the Luton preview in a second. Tonight you have in attendance Gavin. Evening, Gavin.
Evening.
Andy. Evening, Andy.
Good evening, Mike.
And we have a Luton Town fan. Yes, you heard that.
The other one.
It's Mozza, who joins Andy on TikTok in his chats on there. So, evening, Mozza. How you doing?
Evening, mate. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. So, yeah, without further ado, I'm just going to jump into the presentation deck. We've got a good few of you watching tonight, so thank you for that. If you have watched the Fans Forum, I know that's a lot to go through. That was a good sort of just over an hour, nearly an hour and a half there from the club. And we got people in the comments, as you can see. So evening Stephen Cooper, evening Jack Smith, and evening Steve. Steve with the comment there about felt the tone of the Fans Forum was a bit condescending in general. Well, I think they were trying to, in the nicest way of putting this, educate maybe the uneducated in how the club runs. And yes, there were bits there that were oversimplified in some ways, but we'll pick up some of that. Obviously, it's a lot to try and digest post. But as we always do, on the pod tonight, I just go through the panel quickly and then ask them how their week's been. So, Gavin, how's things for you? Getting any of your deals signed off this week, hopefully?
Just had a text. Be quiet. You're going to ruin it. No. In a word, no. Offers out on one and not quite finalised on the SP on the other. So I won't. What's the right word? Jinx it even further. Thanks for asking, Mike.
Yeah, but other than that, you're good. Obviously, no game Tuesday night, but still feeling happy and comfortable about the result and going forward, hopefully. Yeah,
really impressed with Lord McCabe's interview. I thought he came across really well. Very confident young man. Seems very beyond his years for 19 in terms of the way he talks.
Yeah.
If his football's half as good as the way he talks, then I think we're going to be in for a bit of a signing. I thought the press conference today, wasn't it? Yeah, today, which I listened to tonight, was very positive too. It seems like a week on the grass, as they put it, is going to do them no harm at all. So, hopefully we'll go to Kenilworth on Saturday, rejuvenated, with a game plan to get 3 points. You never know.
Exactly. Thanks, Gav. Andy, how's your week been? Getting out as you do always, walking the dog with some fresh air where you are, which is always nice. I haven't walked in at all this week, and I must admit, I do feel it when I don't.
I'm just glad, mate, that I'm 8% water, because the amount of water I've walked in this week is unreal.
You need to get that leaking bladder checked, though, mate.
All the time. And I was sort of sharing the live tonight with another friend of mine. I'll give him a name check. Malcolm Haynes is another Luton Town fan. Although he was a Plymouth Argyle season ticket holder not long ago, he is a Luton Town fan, jumping on the glory bandwagon up to the Premiership and stuff. But yeah, he's a good lad, and Mozza's a good lad as well. So yeah, I'm fine, mate. I've had quite a good week actually.
Yeah, no, good. And Mozza, obviously your first time on here, but how was? I haven't looked actually. Hang on, I can see it on my screen here. Your last result was a big 4-1 win at home to Barnet. How's your week been? Before we come to you in a minute with all how you found your season, but yeah, how's your week been, mate?
It's been good. The Barnet game obviously showed that we can get goals, because we were struggling to score goals. And obviously the Burton game was 3-0 before, obviously. So we're getting confidence, which is what you need in a season.
Yeah, no, yeah, well, exactly. And I think, we both came down last season. So, when we come on to that in a second, I'm just going to touch upon the news. But yeah, just from my point of view, it's been a pretty good week, really. Lots going on at work, as always. And I'm glad, I must admit, I've decided, so those that were on the show last time and are aware of the Tales from the Block, I have decided, and sorry, Ninja Matt, back in tonight, evening, mate. Did decide to stop doing that because it takes me a long time, around 4 to 5 hours. And actually, there's, when you've got Tuesday games, Saturday games, you're doing the prep for this, you've got a busy day job as well. I must admit, it takes it out of you, and you've got to think about those things and family and stuff. So there will be no more of that, but I have enjoyed doing it. And I must admit, without the game on Tuesday, it's been nice just to have that bit of respite. And I have to say, and I did say it in our WhatsApp group today, my God, has it been quiet all week. So there's no transfer rumours and who we're going to sign and who we're not. And, we were rubbish, weren't we? Or we were good. So, yeah, that's good. Some others in the chat, Evening Dean, good to see you in there. Marcus is in there as well with Jack Smith. So, Steve saying Mozza got to do initiation song being first time surely. Actually, we've never done that, Steve, but that's a good shout. Have you got any songs you like to sing, Mozza, you want to share with us?
That are clean.
Nah, they're all about how much we hate Watford or hate the FA.
Love it. Well, I'm just going to go into the news. I kept the press conference stuff out of this, but we will come on to that. And got a little surprise as well. Been speaking to Chris Errington of the Plymouth Live, formerly Evening Herald, as a lot of people will know it as. And we will get Chris on here probably next Live Lounge next week. So we want to try and bring some more people involved that are associated in some way with the club. So we're going to do that with Chris. But we also noticed that he's doing some reels and posting them to the Plymouth Live Facebook account earlier. And I said to him, can we actually use that and put it on the show tonight and just play? He's done one based on the press conference today. So I've got that video to show you later. So I think we're going to get Chris sort of giving us his view post games as well after when we come to do on our Saturday night, our 8:30 p.m. where we do our post-match review of the game that day. So, just other stuff we want to try and bring to you. So, other news then, or Argyle news in that sense. So, Joe Hatch joins Taunton Town. So, the 19-year-old has completed a short-term loan move until January, which I think's interesting. Maybe we're just a little bit sort of nervous of maybe committing past that for whatever happens in January. So he's played well in a couple of games he's had, most notably QPR in the Carabao Cup at home. For me, he was brilliant. Hazard set for his season debut. Yes, Tom Cleverley did allude to that. He's going to be missing his final game, which then set on Saturday against Luton, which says that he's almost going to be in for the Tottenham Hotspur match under 21s that we play in the next virtual cup clash. Pukac, ex-former Argyle player, has secured a season loan move to Holstein Kiel, from Holstein Kiel to Sabah FC. Thought I'd just drop that one in there. Some ex-Argyle players on the move, and transfer speculation as well this week, and that is Sheffield Wednesday have been eyeing up goalkeeping coach Daryl Flavhaven as a potential addition to their backroom staff, which would be a loss if he did go, because I think I enjoy watching him training the guys and think he's very good at what he does. There were other bits and pieces we'll come on to more. Patterson is picked up either another niggle or just aggravated a previous injury. And he's going to be out, and there's no time frame on that. So I'm gutted at that because I was really looking forward to him coming back. And Mackenzie still 10 days. Was it 10 days or something, Gavin, did he say still?
10 days, 2 weeks, check.
Yeah, so there we go. There's a bit of the news. Before I move on, just Ninja Matt saying good forum. Mike, a few things I'd like to ask questions about, but we're not spunking the money away, really. Who'd have thought? Matt being a chartered accountant, when these accounts do come out, then Matt is going to come on and we will talk that through all of that. So without further ado, folks, so we've got Luton Town on Saturday. Hang on a minute. The slide. Oh, that's the right slide. Luton Town on Saturday. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, Mozza. We obviously come off the back of our best performance of the season so far. A couple of players we were hoping to be back, like Patterson, is obviously going to be missing, which is a shame. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, Argyle can come away and again either steal the points or collect something. But before we talk about the game, how have you found coming down again? Obviously, another relegation. But how are you feeling for your start of the season so far? And your overall views on where you think you'll end up. Because you're in 7th spot at the moment, so it's not been as bad as ours. But where's your head at with all of that's gone on since the Great Premiership?
Well, we got relegated obviously to the Championship, and obviously didn't spend the money that we should have spent to stay up in the Championship. Then we got relegated again, and obviously I just feel like we didn't invest enough in the squad or had the ambition from the board. Felt a lot of anger to the board, but obviously we got a nice new shiny 25,000 seat stadium that we've got to pay off at some point. So yeah, that's gonna be really good when that comes. Obviously, we got relegated last game of the season. 20% chance of not getting relegated, and Luton were like, "Hold our beer, watch what we can do," and yeah, and maybe absolute. I hate West Brom now with a passion. I'm not gonna yeah, I just feel like we've had 2 losses in this league. Bradford, as you know, very good side. You don't know what they're going to do. They could surprise you. And obviously Cardiff are swarming away, stomping it away. And yeah, I just feel that we're playing you after the international break, which is quite good as well, because we normally do well after the international break. Players to look out for obviously is Sabo and Al Hamadi, our new striker from Ipswich. So yeah.
Just rub it in.
Yeah, go on. I mean, it's one of those, Andy, Gav, that we could obviously hope and pray for going up to the Premiership one day, and I think when any club gets that chance to achieve that, it's just bedlam, and it's crazy. I mean, even for us to get back into the Championship was after being out for over 10 years or so. It was great to be back there. You know that you're going to get some really good football opposition to play against and all that lot. Let me just switch it back to this view actually at the minute. Sorry, folks, just going back to grid view with us all in over the slides. And yeah, so I mean, Andy, you would take it, wouldn't you? Obviously in a heartbeat, but yeah, to suddenly drop back down very quickly is also got to be, tough to take.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to Luton. They did well coming up. You remember they came up from non-league and they came right up to the Premiership. So fair play to them. They did it absolutely brilliantly. And for whatever reason, they just couldn't sustain themselves in the Prem and came down to join us. And sadly, again, it's happened again. And I know my mate.
You want to keep your company.
Keep us company, yeah. It was, I was saying, my friend Malcolm was sort of saying, and he's a massive Luton fan. He was saying how great it was to be back up there again. But I mean, fair play to them. They're a good side, and I think they will go straight back up again this season.
You wanted predictions of where I think we're going to finish. Obviously, I think we're going to hopefully get straight back to the Championship, second or whatever. But obviously, it'd be good to go back to Wembley, to be fair, because we are unbeaten at Wembley and we haven't got a good record. So I do want to go back to Wembley and hopefully with a Virtue Cup as well. So yeah.
You got to beat us in the Virtue Cup, mate.
So looking at your last run of form, yeah. So you beat Barnet 4-1 at home, which is an interesting one with us going to your next. You beat Burton Albion away 3-0. Luton, Cardiff, you got beaten at home 1-0. Wigan, you beat 1-0 at home, and then as you said, Bradford away as well 2-1. That's your last sort of 5 games that you've had so far. And like I said, you are sitting in 7th, so it's not doom and gloom like us. And everybody Mozza can be a bit frustrated with their owners from time to time, but maybe your spending when you're in the Championship was to pay off and save money to pay off that new stadium. So that's one thing. But in terms of the sort of way Luton play and the key players, Gavin tends to sort of do this on a slide for us. Gavin, just actually before I ask Mozza that, who would you say stands out if you've looked at that tonight to get a shout from Mozza?
One question, Mozza. You've gone from 3-4-2-1 to 3-1-4-2. So last game you played 3-1-4-2, I think it was against Barnet. What was the reason for that? Were you getting sort of swamped in midfield in the previous game, or?
We're at the moment. We played better with 3 on the back. We're still trying to find our 4-man formation.
Yeah.
We're trying to maybe we could possibly go to 4 on the back, depending on Bloomfield, because we can't. The players can't gel sometimes on the left or the right, and we're getting cut deep, and there's runs on the wings, and it's not good. And I don't think the players are fit for positions that they should be in. So that's why we're changing formations around.
Okay. How's someone we all know? Longvik playing for you? Is he settled in well?
Getting in okay. I'd like to see more of what he could do. Time will tell. Obviously, it's quite new to us, so yeah.
He's Voodoo's just asked a question. We'll get it in quick. Can you recommend a restaurant on the Dunstable Road? I would say in Dunstable is probably the best place to have dinner, Voodoo, to be candid.
Dunstable. Market Cross, if that helps you.
There you go. Yeah, Voodoo's very accustomed to fine wine and fine food. So, he's like Lord Lucan, just lives like a multi-trillionaire. He owns a couple of chateaus in France and stuff. That's why he hides behind the Voodoo name. Your midfield looks like it's been its best attribute so far. Saville had a good season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Saville's our stand-up player, ex-Millwall. Really like him, actually, to be fair. So yeah, I feel like set pieces. We're gonna. We saw how we done a goal against Wigan. It was very like Arsenal, very like set piece on LA, and scored the goal. So if we could score goals from set pieces, I don't really mind if we score goals from set pieces, but I just want to score goals.
It will hopefully be a better spectacle than when we played you last year up there, where I think even the cameraman had a neck ache from the amount of time the ball was in the air. We were dreadful. You were dreadful. It was one of the worst games of football I think I've ever seen. This year it looks like we're both playing a bit more on the deck and a bit more. It's still direct, but it's not hoofball.
No.
Would it be fair to say you seem to bomb forward, have overlaps on the wingers, and try and get as many crossing as possible for your 17 number 9s that you have in the squad? Would that be fair?
Yeah, we're trying to make changes. We're trying to get the best attacker. That's why we bought ex-Ipswich striker, because we couldn't score goals for a good period of time. So what's the point of having all these strikers if they can't score goals? So hopefully,
we've already got one, but he knows where the back of the net is. So all joking aside, has Yates not done well enough for you then to bring him in? Because I thought he was the Messiah, going to sort you out.
Yates is okay. I'm not that fully confident about what he can do. Time will tell. But obviously, that's why we got. Maybe I'm hoping that we can play Yates and Al-Hamadi. That's why we're going to change formations around as well.
3-5-2.
We can fit both strikers in, and we can score more goals, which is what we're supposed to do. So
I'll tell you what's interesting. Just looking at FOTMob, no, you've got 7 goal scorers. No one scored more than 1 goal. Is that right?
Mm.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. We're lacking in the scoring the goals and
That's-
creating the chances.
Yeah, I mean, after
So-
this many games in, that's quite impressive to only to have no one on more than one
Yeah,
goal.
Yates hasn't bagged yet, has he? Which is challenging. Nordis has got one. Nelson's got one.
Yates has got one against the mighty Barnet. So yeah, just be
Oh,
aware.
yeah. Sorry. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. I'll stand corrected. The fearful defence of it's like a sieve. It was about as containing as. So what you think there'll be a change of formation for Saturday, and I'll go 3-5-2 and try and have Almeida and Yates up top?
Yeah, we'll try and play 3-5-2 and obviously hope bring Al Hamidi on in the second half and see what he can do. Play Yates. I think this Yates is a very confident player, so that goal against Barnet, even though it is against Barnet, will give him the confidence to hopefully score against Plymouth. So yeah.
And lastly, from me, we've obviously signed the very, very up and coming Bim Peppel. I ain't going to pronounce his first name. Neither are you. Let's be honest. What were your thoughts on him? I'm sure you were desperately sad to see him go.
Yeah, he's a good player. Obviously, I know him from non-league because my friends are Southend fans, so they tell me how good of a player he could potentially be. So, yeah, I feel like Plymouth is his level, you know. So, yeah, look after him for us.
He's exceptional with his back to goal. I think he's done everything really, really well so far, apart from hit the back of the net. I think he's a confidence player too. So I think once he does finally bag one, I think he'll be a much better player. Yeah. But his all round play, I thought, has been actually very, very good. He's very strong, and he upper body strength, and seems to be a bit more pace than I thought he was going to have as well. But it should be an interesting game Saturday. We've just moved to a back three on Saturday against Stockport, which has done us the world of good. It means we're far more combative in the midfield, and it also means that if our wing backs or what was full backs get done, then we're not all scrambling out of possession and you blink and it's in the back of our net, because we were a little bit Rooney-esque at the start of the season in terms of our defensive pattern.
Because you can score goals, but you weren't winning games, and now you won a couple of games. So,
well, we Saturday we should have won probably 4-1. There was a penalty given against us because Abraham blew in the box and he fell over, and the referee gave it a corner. Not even Sky or our commentary team knew what the ball. They thought it had been awarded a corner. So that's how bad that penalty was. And then we conceded in the 95th minute from a really sloppy bit of defending, to be fair. I think everyone switched off because we were 4-1 up. But we are defensively, we look much stronger. We've got Alex Mitchell from Charlton on loan, who was part of their winning team last year. He's no nonsense. So we're back to what we probably were defensively when we come and played you for the Battle of the Somme. That's what it felt like last year at Kenilworth.
Just got a message about Yates is getting match fit, so I think we might play Morris and rotate the squads if Yates is not fit yet, because apparently a player got injured, so it could be Yates potentially. So
you'll have a bingo caller, won't it? Just the squad numbers for who plays up number 9. Just go, look, there it is.
Our third players have gone down to 19 anyway, so there's always. I think Nakamba's injured as hell. How his ACL's done. So we can't play Nakamba. Send him back to Aston Villa, I say. So yeah.
Okay. I think Martin, who put that comment in, you spotted Mozza is a Luton fan. I would gather from the latest comment of Pep will never play for us, so not a miss. No, a few people would probably say if he didn't for us, he wouldn't be a miss. But as with anything on these teams, and we've said it before in our shows, Mozza, we've got a lot of new players. We've also missed a lot of experienced players through injury, and sort of these young players like Peppel and Aseni and a few others. They need that sort of confidence and that support to get them through tough games. Obviously, you'll know that we've collapsed, under the first goal going in against us on too many occasions, and what we've really missed and what was a difference on Saturday once we got into the game after that first goal, which we didn't was an own goal, but the is creating those chances, isn't it? And for any strikers, whether you've got 10 of them or just a couple of them like us, is getting those shots and chances at goal. And as soon as they get a goal, it gives them that confidence boost. And so a lot of these youngsters, Pepper or Seni, when they get their chance, with all these players coming back as well, if you're going to do it, you need to take that opportunity, and if you can just get that goal or a chance or two, it's going to lift you.
Well, what we miss a lot is creativity. Obviously, Ross Barkley, obviously in the Prem, was obviously sold to Villa. And obviously, we missed him a lot when we went down to the Championship or whatever. And obviously, that's why we brought in ex-Bristol Naismith in to create the chances for the strikers. You know what I mean?
Nelson's had a good season for you as well. And I saw in the comments as well from, I think, Martin Cawthorne saying Zach Nelson's had a good... Yeah. He's an academy product, isn't he? I think, off memory.
Yeah, Nelson's academy, and it looks good. So yeah, I do like Keeley, ex-Spurs goalkeeper. I think that's what his name is. So yeah, he's doing a lot of... I think it's going to be good. Anyway.
Yeah, he's got a 6.8 FOTMOB rating, and then literally he's 10th in your list. There's quite a lot of players that got a good overall average rating on FOTMOB. So that's good. I mean, you've got the quality still, haven't you? It's just then getting that mindset right and trying to sort of think, no, we can come back from stuff. You don't want just that constant drop, just playing on everybody's minds, do you? Because it just negativity breeds so quickly.
Yeah. Kenilworth Road, obviously, sometimes depending on the crowd and the atmosphere, if we're losing the game or whatever, the crowd obviously can lose their patience, and you've seen a lot of times where people will just walk away, and if it's 1-0 down, you put your head down. Obviously, when you go 2-0 down, then you just lose confidence. And if it's 3-0 down, then you're like, you know what I mean? And it just gets worse. You know what I mean? So
you see that on Saturday, Ross.
Huh?
You'll see that on Saturday, mate, when you go 3-0 down.
I've seen us lose 5-0. So yeah, at half time I was debating my life choices.
Don't worry, we're used to those sort of.
If there's any consolation, the last 2 games at Cardiff I've been to, we've lost a combined 9-0. So if you want to start talking about Amarins, you've come to the right place. Let's be candid.
Yeah, Andy, anything from you? I'm going to go to the lineup next with Gavin, so and I'll get your final thoughts then as well, Mozza. But any further questions from you, Andy?
Yeah, nothing much from me, mate. I'm looking forward to the game on Saturday because I've got 2 good mates who are Luton fans, and I know there's going to be banter afterwards either way. So yeah.
Yeah, Mozza, Martin has said Mads Anderson is back Saturday, so guessing that is a boost. So if I just go back to the slide deck, so Gavin, do you want to sort of give your thoughts on the lineup for this weekend?
Well, it's kind of if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality, really. So same lineup as Saturday. Ashby, Delazouche in goal. Back 3, Wirreder on the left, Mitchell in the middle, and Such on the right. I think Matthias Ross is breathing down Such's neck for his shirt. That's the way it looks at the moment, which is good. And a guy who's played in Champions League football is going to be in the side, I think, sooner rather than later. Midfield 4 of Ibrahim and Boateng as the anchors. Both of them played out their skin. I think they're both in Team of the Week for the division last week. Ibrahim got man of the match. Boateng, I thought, was exceptional again. Yeah. I don't think you can break that partnership up just yet. However, you then do have Lorne McCabe, who trained with the England's first team on Thursday before he played for the under-20s, and is a hot talent and is obviously very well thought of by Middlesbrough, who is waiting in the wings. I'm sure he'll probably get 30 minutes or so, and one of those guys will be told to run their legs off, one would assume, to get him in. Left wing back, Matti Saranola. I think, was it 2 assists on Saturday from 2 set pieces? I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, two set pieces. So 2 assists on Saturday. I think his crossing's getting better and better. Even though he's right-footed, he's been playing well on the left. Joe Edwards is I think if anyone watched the press conference today, will know why he's been selected in the side again. Absolute rock back there. Communication, as I think TC mentioned in the press conference earlier, is a big thing. If you've got a back five with Weiradu, Mitchell and Edwards in there are all great communicators and all great talkers and all three great leaders, that's going to help us, because I think we're going to spend a lot of time in our own box clearing balls. And then a front three, again, not broke it because it wasn't fixed, so they all deserve their shirt. Caleb Watts in the right, Mumba on the left, and obviously Talai up top, with Tegan Finn, Owen Dale and Bim Peppel waiting in the wings, and also possibly Eamon Benarous, although it's probably likely that he's going to cover the wing back positions. But yeah, so subs were, and this is where we can see we're getting a bit of depth now because of the players that we've left out. So Zach Baker in goal for one more week, I think, until Hazard's back. Matthias Ross, Eamon Benarous, Law McCabe, Owen Dale, Tegan Finn and Bim Peppel, which then means there's a lot of good strength to come back in outside of that squad. No Brendan Galloway, for example. When some of the other guys that are on the fringes ready to come back, then we are going to have a very strong squad. And there's going to be a number of guys, I think, in this lineup and in this bench now not getting a game of football on a regular basis, which is good to see.
Yeah, I'm excited for it again. That's got to bring fear into you there, Mozza. That lineup.
If only he knew half of them was, he's probably gone and recognised Bim. As good as it gets.
No Pebble.
No, it's I'm excited for that. The most important thing is that we can sustain another run. Obviously, it was 2 or 3 back to back if you want to include the virtual against Cheltenham. But yeah, 2 league games back to back at home. So yes, can we finally sort our away form out this season? So Mozza, it's been great to have you on and to give us your insights. Accidental Pilgrim just noted, and I did answer it. Yes, I'm not your Sam Down, but ChatGPT certainly helps. But 120 years ago was when the first ever game for Luton at Kenilworth Road was against Argyle, and it ended 0-0 according to ChatGPT. So
and Mozza was in the crowd, funny enough.
Yeah,
you were there, Andy. Mozza was in the crowd, so I've heard.
It is 120 years of the amazing stadium, Kenilworth Road, where I will be absolutely devastated when it gets knocked down. If you see me on Hatters Talk, I tell people how important it is to preserve it and maybe try and keep it, but they just want to knock it down and build houses or whatever, because just
build more houses.
Build more houses that we need. So, but it's important that we keep our heritage and keep important and keep remembering who we are. We are Luton Town at the end of the day, and we will always fight. So yeah.
I think it's the plans for your new stadium, Moz, and it's absolutely amazing. You know that I said that halo effect that's got around the top with the lighting is fantastic. So yeah,
I think it'll be really important on the new housing development that one of the houses they have to go up a set of stairs through Maud's back and into their own front door. Otherwise, it's ruined, completely ruined.
Yeah.
That is just so unique, isn't it? So, final thoughts then, Mozza, and what do you think the score will be on Saturday?
Final thoughts. I'm actually quite confident about Saturday. Slightly, but I know that you can cause threats, and I know you're buzzing for the game. But I just think when it's at Kenilworth Road, I think we're gonna win 2-1. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty much what I predicted. I think I've put it up on a slide. Let me go and see. Oh, no, we got a bit more of the preview, but the actual score one, where is it? Yeah, I went sort of 2-1 to us. I think there'll be a bit of a chance back. So let me jump back to this one. So, yeah, Mozza, look, thanks for having you on. Andy, thanks for sorting that out with Mozza. Mozza does hang around on TikTok for those Luton fans that are listening in tonight, then you can follow him. So yeah, other than that, we are going to crack on. So right, let's let me go back to the slide, Dick. Just looking at a couple of comments. Accidental Pilgrim saying I'd take that 0-0 from 120 years ago. I think so. I think getting a point would be brilliant, just to sort of just come away with something and absolutely a good performance as well. Gavin, just on any of these remaining Luton slides as we went through bits and pieces with Mozza there, anything you wanted to add from what you've put in here?
It was that's my preview, but obviously it's nothing better than getting it from the horse's mouth or near enough the horse's mouth. So yeah, no, it's all good.
Yeah, that's fine. And then anything, well, you've noted all of that. So and there's a score. Yep. So we'll. I'm just going to touch up on a couple of things. So there's obviously the Argyle TV and videos. Last Saturday before the game, Argyle Breakfast had David Fox on. I caught up with that one. Actually, I watched it a bit this morning. He was on with Aaron Cusack. And I always forget a name. Someone help me out here. From Argyle TV, the female presenter.
What's her face? I called her. I don't know.
Yeah, that's terrible. Apologies for that. A name escapes my head suddenly. Who conducted the interview. And I think it was good to see him on there, cramped on that leather sofa, it felt. But it was what you expected. I mean, he said very much along the lines of Argyle have a plan for the players that they want to bring in. Very much stuck, with that agenda, so felt a bit like those players that did sign for us earlier, a few we've noted earlier, would have sort of happened anyway. The striker situation, I mean, Paul did it in the presentation tonight, about rumours and stuff. He said, of course, there's some that didn't happen to materialise, and he emphasised it wasn't down to money. It was location at the end of the day that stumped that. And with Laurent Talai, he was someone that they've been looking at all summer and been in comms with, and then it started to come together with Talai wanting to come down and join us. So that was good. So yeah, there was definitely an air of almost we want the players that want we want to bring in the players that play the Argyle style that we want. I sort of took that as very much something Simon sort of alluded to, I think, at the previous fans forum, or in some guys around that time of, sort of, we want to bring players that want to play to our style and all that sort of stuff. And the coach is there to coach them. I mean, David Fox said, when we bring these players in, then it's down to the coach to make them fit in to the squad. And I just wonder whether or not for the next transfer window, there might be a bit more influence from Tom Cleverley on that. I think it would be wise too. We can't just sit back and just, assume that with all the data that they still heavily use, that we're just going to pick those players for the coach where we feel and they see there's gaps. Of course, they talk with Cleverley on this. But, I mean, Gavin, it's one of those where, look, there'll be a lot of lessons to be learned. We still don't ever know what really goes on behind closed doors. So you have to take it as you accept it. And some people just will believe that, we were just rubbish within that window. But, it is a point, I think. You've got to let the manager coach, as he is, but you do want to get their input. And Tom Cleverley said in that Sky Sports interview, he very much loves going and watching players and watching games and seeing some of these targets that they might be after. So maybe we'll see a bit more of that. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, hopefully. From what I know from previous incumbent in terms of head of recruitment, certainly it was a 6 months in advance type conversation who we are looking for. So now they'd have their list pretty much nailed down, or long list to be nailed down for the January window. So a lot of work would have probably gone in from February, March, April through to this window, I would assume. Again, I think everyone in their right mind thought that Miran Muslic was going to be our coach. There's a slightly different playing style. January will be telling. I think TC will have a far bigger grasp of the nettle in January. I'm sure he'll be working hard to get a couple of players in that he would want. I know potentially they're looking at a couple at the moment in terms of the off market players, as it were, the free agents. But I said, I think last Thursday? I think it was last Thursday. You can't judge this window until everybody's fit and everyone's playing. There's been a lot of bedwetting going on around the window, and we've had a lot of inexperienced players playing. I think no one can say that was what was good, or what good looked like. I think that was pretty poor. But I think it was circumstance, and the players that we've signed, certainly the last two in the door, seem very good. I think Dale will end up fighting very hard for that shirt off Caleb Watts. He seems the real deal and has got good experience at the level. I think Matthias Ross is going to be a bit of a folk hero for us moving forward. I think he'll sort of take the Televirov mantle when he's fully fit. He's nowhere near it yet, but I think he'll be an exceptional player. And this young lad, McCabe, looks sensational, and I think he'll rip up the league. So, if look at the window, probably, I think, to use Tom's benchmark earlier, after 15 games, if we've got all those players back, Hazard's back in goal, and we've got Patterson fit, etc. We've got McKenzie back at left wing back, or certainly pushing hard that left wing back with Saranola. All of a sudden, there's a lot of players in that squad that we put up a minute ago who are outside that squad that are pushing for players. You are then getting some quite senior pros, having an afternoon off and doing a Callum Wright and walking the dog around Devil's Point. I don't know what he was doing at Devil's Point. Maybe he's a swinger. I don't know.
Who's on there?
Dogger. Anyway, it is what it is. But I think that will genuinely be the case. So I think there'll be a lot of intensity in training, but you can't really mark this window out of 10 until everybody's been recruited in the window actually hits the ground and gets over the whitewash and plays a game or two, can you?
No, and I think sort of Andy David Fox sort of highlighted the injury situation, having a massive impact, and we've discussed that and we've said it. I still sort of feel that yes, I would have liked to have seen another number 9. That was my only sort of concern overall, but you sort of do feel, and it was Ninja Matt who said it a few weeks back, and absolutely right, as Gavin's alluded to, give it 15 games, sort of get into November, see where we are, and win that 4-1 win on the weekend gave such a boost. And those players that are going to be fighting for position, I mean, the one thing, yes, experience is important, but if you're going on a run and the confidence is high, these youngsters are going to come alive, and so it's going to be competition for places big time. So I'm hoping that we do see some really, really good performances now.
Yeah, and we're starting to see that already, aren't we, Mike? On the last 3 home games, we haven't lost. So, it speaks for itself, doesn't it? We're getting our home form sorted out. Confidence will breed from that. The last home game against Stockport was particularly good because they all played as a team. And I remember criticising certain Ballymumba in a game early on in the season and saying that we should push him up forward, and then said pushing him back. And then all of a sudden, he's gone forward again. And he's actually played out with skin and played the best game of the season for us. So, yeah, there's going to be competition for that. There's going to be people coming in who'll want to play and have to fight for their place. And there's still some players we haven't seen yet under Cleverly. So that's exciting.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, Ninja Matt's saying we all talk sense. Yeah, do we? Probably. No, it's just very much. Do you know what? I know some people accuse us of being too happy clappy and stuff like that. We're just at the end of the day, we don't react. I'm certainly, and I said this on the last show, a lot calmer than I've ever been, about the situation, because you are dealing with a bit of a change. And actually, another point David Fox made on those younger signings is that they deliberately were looking for young players, physical young players, so that they could then see the ability to mould and improve their football game, and hopefully then become key assets for Argyle. And there's an element of that where, do you know what? That there's some business sense there. If you try and go after a lot of key players that others might be after, you could end up in that situation where you struggle then to sign anybody at all. So, good potential mix going on there. So Steve's saying sign Ladapo off a backup for Talai or Lotai, whatever you put there, Steve. But yeah, he has been released, and who knows? There might be the odd free agent or two that may appear from somewhere. We never know. But yeah, looking forward. It was good interviews though. I mean, as Gavin said, Lord McCabe came across really, really well. Was there anything specific, like Gavin, that he sort of said about? I know he said when he found out Tom was keen on him, he felt that was a big draw for him as well, from what I saw of a clip.
It was evident that he's made his debut and beat Watford 3-1. He saw him then at the England training camp about 3 weeks later and had a chat. and they got on well. And apparently, as soon as they knew, I think he said he was sat with his mates watching the Liverpool Arsenal game, and his phone was going bananas with the club saying Plymouth want you. Apparently, he had a chat with TC and was like, let's get it done, and was sort of signed. He signed on his way. I'm assuming they sign digitally these days via DocuSign or something along those lines. But he was signed while sat in the car on the way to his training camp down in England. So on the Monday morning. So clearly impressed with A, the club, which I think is important, but B, I think a lot of it was around I was wanted. They specifically asked for me. There wasn't have you got a midfielder knocking around? It was I want him. And you can just see the little squint, the little gleam in TC's eye when he talks about him twice now, once in today's presser and once on the presser before when they mentioned his name. I think he's going to be an exceptional player. And isn't it nice to have three, and if you include Caleb Roberts, four really good, young, hungry midfielders that are going to strain every sinew to keep a shirt, which is what you want.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think, for Cleverley, we won't know, but he could have been a player knowing the situation that was going on in the game, going on in our games and the knocks that we were taking. Maybe he sort of pushed on a bit of influence of saying that's, I want this lad if we can get this lad. I've watched him play and all that. So, so I think that's pretty good. Let me just go back to the slide deck. Steve, we know what you were referring to. Hey, you're not the only one that makes mistakes on content. So I'm not gonna go to this just yet. I've got it just in as a catch slide, so we will come to it. But I just want to touch upon the press conference now. I'm going to come to a video now, and bless Chris Errington. I sort of alluded to it at the start. So for those that have just joined us or missed that bit early on, good evening first and foremost, and welcome to the show. Speaking to Chris Errington recently about doing some stuff coming on the show. Obviously, Chris Errington has reported on Argyle for as long as I can remember. Part of Plymouth Live now, merged from the Herald. And so he's going to come on next Thursday, all being well. He was at the forum tonight, so couldn't make it tonight. But he has started to put videos out on Plymouth Live's, I think it was Facebook page. Steve, you shared it in our chat earlier, Steve Vaughan. And I spoke to him about that and said, are you happy for us to use the videos? It's something new they're doing. And I've said to Chris about getting a video from him after the game. So for those of you that join us regularly, Saturday night, 8:30, when we do our post-match analysis of the game that day, we got Harvey England from YouTube, who's been part of us in our WhatsApp group for a while and comes on the shows when he can. He sends us his reaction home or away now, so we can get a vibe from people there. And Chris is going to hopefully share his video on their social channels, but also share that with us. So the more, I think, away from home, the more reaction we can get, where some of us in the group just can't get to those away games, it's good to get that feeling. So he's summarised, it's just over a minute long, he's summarised the press conference today. So I'm going to play that for you now.
Well, I'm here at Home Park after Tom Cleverley's pre-match Luton Town press conference, and here is some of the team news for you. A setback for Jamie Patterson, unfortunately. He'd been close to returning from a calf injury, but he is now back on the sidelines. No timeline on when he'll be available, so that is a blow for Argyle. But better news about Connor Hazard and Jack McKenzie, who haven't played this season. Connor Hazard very close to being back in the picture for Argyle. Maybe the next game against Peterborough United at Home Park on Saturday week is a possibility, and Jack McKenzie not far away either, returning from his injury as well. Brendan Galloway has returned from international duty with Zimbabwe, and he trained with the Argyle team on Thursday ahead of the trip to Luton, his former club. Also Bim Peppel, another former Luton player who joined Argyle in the summer from the Hatters. He is available for the squad. He wasn't involved last week against Stockport County, but I think Tom Cleverley was hinting there that the fact it's against his former club this Saturday might be a persuasive factor in including him back in the squad as well. And just Law McCabe, who has been training with Argyle this week for the first time, he is available to go into the squad. So Galloway and McCabe in gives that little bit more depth to the Argyle squad.
So there we go. Brilliant from Chris there. And you can see he went all the way around to the Lindus to find that quiet place where no one's going to be watching me doing these videos. For those of us, Andy knows this all too well. When you start doing your own video content, it is a little bit of a weird feeling, and you sort of try and hide out the way of anybody else watching you, even your own family. So that was good from Chris to summarise up the player situation from that. And I'm just going to pull up the thread so I can pull up the comments as well. But it will be good to get Chris's feedback after the matches as well as a video update. So please give Plymouth Live a follow if you don't already, and you'll catch that on there as well. But so some of the comments from Tom Cleverley on the free midweek. Gavin touched upon it earlier. He said, it's been good. I love being out on the grass and trying to improve football players. We've got some good quality time to work on things. It's always nicer when you are working on strengths and weaknesses after a good result. Andy, we've said this on the previous show. Cleverley mentioned it in the presser before the game against Stockport County. You know, when it's not going well for you, just want to get on the training pitch, because I think sometimes people don't realise players obviously have to have days off, so do coaching staff, and then when you're getting ready for a Tuesday game, it's a bit more of a sort of an easier warm-up, isn't it? And then, you sort of play that game and you have a day off, and then you're trying to get ready for the Saturday game. It's a challenge to really try and work on anything, isn't it? So I think with a great result against Stockport County, the players that are back and available, we should see. I'd like to see some variations in our long throws that we keep doing and set pieces. But hopefully we'll see some other positives from the game.
Yeah, I mean, in 6 games we've had, it's just been like some mad. Saturday, Tuesday, and players haven't had time to, if you're traveling as well, they haven't had time to sort of wind down. They haven't had time to spend with their families. So, getting back on grass, as you say, is going to be good for them, as long as they don't pick up too many injuries, because it seems that a lot of our injuries happen in training. So, nip that in the bud.
Well, Patterson again, maybe.
Yeah, Patterson again. Hopefully, we'll have Mackenzie back. I know there was a comment in the section about Mackenzie coming back, and that's going to be another 8 to 10 days, maybe more. So it's vital that they get on grass and sort of get the right sort of movements. I think the movements definitely coming. The set pieces are a lot better. Certainly some of the corners we took. We scored from a corner at the weekend, for goodness sake.
We scored all of our goals were either direct from set piece or from a set piece that were second balls.
Yeah, I mean, when was the last time we scored from a corner? I mean, we all know that as Argyle fans.
Did he?
A long time ago.
Well, he pulled the player to head it in.
Yeah.
So,
but the threat's coming, and I think we're starting to gel as a team now. I thought we'd looked in some of our earlier games like we were individuals, and we just looked out of place and looking at each other like statues. And now they're starting to play as a team, which is obviously going to benefit. And having 3 at the back, as Gav said earlier on, having 3 at the back is going to be a lot better for us, for people like Mumba to push up and Edwards to push up.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, on Law McCabe, obviously Gavin's touched upon this, but just Cleverley's comments in the presser, he's technically great. He's got lots and lots of ability for sure. I've only seen him for 3 training sessions, but he's got super strengths when he's on the ball. He's an exciting player. And all players have warmed to him since his arrival. Gavin did say that Cleverley's eyes seem to light up when talking about Law McCabe. So, can't wait to see him, however he comes on in the game. On the squad, as Chris alluded to there, Jack McKenzie is a couple of weeks away. Connor Hazard is hopefully going to miss his final game this weekend, hence what I alluded to earlier. Should then hopefully see him in the Tottenham game. We debated the whole thing on Saturday night. Should he come straight in or do you leave Hammond in there and not unsettle that? Well, let's see what happens in the game on Saturday. Jim Patterson has suffered a further setback. He won't be available for this weekend. Not given any time frame on that. My gut instinct says it ain't good. But fingers crossed for you.
When I spoke to Nance Nance walked around Diamond on Saturday, bless him, after putting the cones out. He gave me the worst horse tip in Christendom. I did ask for it, in fairness. I did say, what nag are you back in today, Nance? And he said, sad Ken in the 310 at Campden or whatever it was. I think it ran backwards and got shot halfway around. But apart from that, I said, "Oh, it'd be good to have Pato back, wouldn't it?" And he went, "Yeah, he's probably not going to make. He's not made today, And it was a little bit vague. If it's calf, from what he said today, they're going to manage the symptoms rather than the scans. He'll tell us when he's ready to play, and he's got no discomfort. So it could well be next week. Who knows? I think it's one of those where he'll go on the pitch and go, "I'm ready," and then we'll go, "Okay," and he'll be selectable. Until then, I mean, it's lucky we've got Dale, isn't it? As a experienced forward. You look at that front three with Talai, with Dale or Watts with Mumba and Talai. It's very strong. It's experience up top, which is what you need. So I'm not worried. But it'd be nice to have him back and fit, because I thought QPR, he ran the game. He was superb. So it'd be nice to get him back in the player who can find a pass is like no one else. So.
Yeah, no, totally agree. That QPR game with Benarous and Hatch on that side was brilliant to watch. Ben Collins has joined us now tonight. Evening, Ben. Hope you are well. You never guess what, Ben? Got a new mug design coming. So I was hoping the wife might have actually done it for me by tonight, but had swimming with Sophie and stuff. So fair play. I shall have that ready soon. It's a graphic that I opened the slide deck with, so I'll show that as again in a minute. Also, following on the presser, Tom Cleverley on Brendan Galloway, he said, trained with us this morning and is available for selection. He's nursing something, and that might have been why he didn't play for Zimbabwe. He was on the subs bench in that game during the international break. We need to keep an eye on him because he's an important player to us. And Galloway said that a few times. Cleverley said that a few times, actually, about Galloway. So when he is fully fit and he is on it and he's in the position he prefers to play, he is a big asset. On Luton, it's going to be a huge challenge. They were a Premier League side 18 months ago and have incredible depth in their squad. They've got a healthy balance of experience, youth and speed, but we're finding form at a good time. And yet I know Mozza, who was joined us just earlier to talk about Luton, is confident, but I think we're going to bring a game to them. On Joe Edwards and his return to the squad, Tom said, I think our most organised performances have been when Joe is in the team. He said, being able to have someone who acts like an on-field coach and organise players around you is a great thing for me as a head coach. Totally agree. I mean, he had some good spells in the game, but just his influence on the squad in a match can't be understated. And speaking of which, because he is the player interview that I'll bring up his comments next, so we'll go to that. But just before I do, let me just click onto this. No, that's not the thing I wanted to bring up. It's this. Come on, Edwards, get yourself sorted. You're letting another Edwards down. He's a few games away from his 250th game. Obviously, for those of you that follow us regularly, we have Nick Tomlinson from PAFC Displays join us on a few shows when he can. So he has set up or asked for donations to get a great big TIFO flag for Edwards all done up. And so from that, he's just going to organise a few celebrations. So anything where you can donate and help, you can see, if I point, because I'm mirroring now, the QR code there, or just go to the PAFC Displays website and you can donate. They use a PayPal donation link on there. So give what you can, if you can, but I'm sure it will look fantastic. And hopefully, if I can time it and able to do it with Nick, we might do a little behind the scenes thing for that event as well. So so shout out to Nick there for organising that. So hang on, I'm still wrong slide. Come here. So on to his presser, if I can get the comments. I don't think I can. Sorry, folks. It looks like it's just the video. I can't show you that. I thought there would be some comments in there, but there isn't. Did anybody watch Joe Edwards' bit? Gavin, I think you watched it. Yeah, do you want to just give us a summary on what he said?
I think he got mostly a ribbon for his age. So he was saying that the boys are constantly taking the piss at him every day, saying you're nearly as old as the coach, all that nonsense. he said that he really enjoys playing still. He wants to play as long as possible. I think, in the words of like people in the old people tell me, you're a long time dead. Well, I think in his words, you're a long time retired. So he wants to get his playing career as long as he can, which is understandable. Basically said, well, I'm adding value and I'm selectable. I want to keep playing. Talked about the relationship with TC and how he's still the liaison, if you like, between the management and the team on a day-to-day basis, and he's still enjoying that. And that he's fit and hungry. And I suppose one of the things that did surprise me a little bit was he said, Cheltenham, I was really up for. I was saying to the lads, come on, and he said, like, we had a really poor crowd, which was about 3,500, 4,000, wasn't it? And he was saying, don't ever, boys, take any game for granted, because, every game is important, especially when you're playing at home park in front of the Green Army, la, 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 la. So he was in good spirits. I thought he talked very well, as he always does. He's a good leader. He's probably two men when he's out there, because I think some of the younger players just have a bit of, okay, Joe's on the pitch, everything's going to be okay.
He's going to tell me where I should be.
Well, I just think he's got that X factor where I just think everyone's like, well, if Joe's here, we're not going to lose. It's like having, my dad's got a bazooka in the playground. It's like, here he comes. He's going to make sure we're all right. And that back five now, if he's in it, and I was just thinking about Brendan Galloway as we were talking.
Yeah.
If you put Brendan Galloway at left wing back, and I know he played there a bit under Miron, you've got, if you're going to bombard our box on Saturday, and maybe that's what he was hinting towards, you'll lose Saranola from a set piece perspective, but you'll gain a ton of defensive experience and a ton of ways to, if they're going to lay siege on our box, to get the ball away. But that experience across the back line with him there just makes a whole bunch of difference, in my opinion.
That's what we've got to look forward to. So, I mean, Andy, there's not much more you can add to that, is there? I mean, he is a big influence. He can clearly multitask on the pitch. He's watching what others are doing, trying to get them sorted while, watching his own man. He's marking. I've left the QR code up there for anybody that missed it when I had the tape. Say again?
I said, I'm just donating as we speak.
Yeah, I did see you hold.
As I picked the picture, I was like, oh shit.
I thought you were trying to just get a photo of us, but
no. I was just getting a photo of the QR code.
That's it. So yeah, no, it's Andy. It's going to be a great day when that happens. And also, I think if Mumba, has got his thing as well, isn't he? If he, in this weekend, if he starts, so. Yeah, it's a good all round.
It's positive all round, isn't it? And I noticed on Saturday that Joe was, he was getting back to his best again. Oh, he's no spring chicken, but he was getting back to his best. He was commanding. He was leading the back three, sorry, and G'ing the players up and getting back to what Joe does properly, as a sort of ambassador of our club. And Mumba, congratulations to him. 250 games. That's a lot of games for a young man. And hopefully like many more for us.
Mumba's 150, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
it was 250 all round.
Joe's 250 for us.
Yeah,
and Mumba's 150.
No, I thought Mumba was.
I'm going to check, unless someone put it in the chat, because now I'm slightly going, hang on a minute. But yeah, no, either way, it's if I can find it, it's good. What's it saying now?
I mean, certainly his leadership on the pitch on Saturday. We just needed that experienced head in there, just to steady the ship, just to G the players up, just to sort of get alongside the youngsters and say, "Come on, you're doing good." Yeah, that's all we need.
Yeah. No, and let's go to the hot topic of the night, the fans forum. I clipped a couple of slides. I know we're getting on now. We're just up to an hour in, but there's a few, comments that we had early on at the start of the show, and obviously there's a few people. I did see the YouTube comments thread going by. I was contributing a little bit into it early on. So I think overall, Paul, who did the presentation, did it well, conducted it well, didn't hesitate too much, delivered it, sort of obviously knew what he was going to talk about as he went through there. But there certainly was, Gav and I were picking up on it, and Andy, before going live. And it was a Steve, not Stephen Vaughan or Stephen Cooper, but said it felt a bit condescending. I think they were trying to just explain in simple terms obviously where the money goes and how the club operates. To a lot of people who question everything all the time. Gavin picked up, didn't you, talked about surplus, which is effectively the profit you make from, what you're selling with all the stuff. But yeah, I think people will still be critical of it. They'll still want to, challenge it and all that sort of stuff. That's fine. But I felt it was a long presentation, but actually it kept the attention.
I think, to be honest, the way they've done it, like people can now just download this and go through it in their own pace. I think the issue with fans forums in general, when it's just a Q&A session, is something gets clipped up from Simon Hallett that he's, the classic of the minute is, where are we going to finish? Second, I don't know. That's been clipped up and that's been rammed down his throat 1,000 times on socials. What else could he have said? 15th. I mean, if he did, there'd have been meltdown, and then you'd have seen a Unilever price grow. Jesus. So with this, because it was quite dry content from what I saw. Well, unless you're Matt, he's probably got his popcorn out and gone, oh, EBITDA, adjustable depreciation.
Ninja Matt Gavin's referring to, yeah.
Ninja Matt, sorry, yeah. The content was quite dry, but I thought it was you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't on this basis. Because if you keep it really, really basic, people go, "Oh, you're being really condescending." If you pitch it at a level which people don't understand, they go, "Oh, you're baffling us with bullshit." So I think you're in a position that, from what I saw, a lot of it was probably aimed at the right level. I don't think I'm the average punter in terms of sort of financials. No. So I thought it was good.
No, Accent of Pilgrim saying, quote of the night, that was funny. Did you hear that bit from Paul? Was a pasty in each hand is a balanced diet. Accent of Pilgrim saying he's taking that. Effectively, what Paul was saying about that is obviously, of course, anything where you, and Ninja Matt's agreeing with you, Gav, 100%. Anything where obviously you can contribute additionally, if it is then buying a bit of food or a drink. I have to say, give it to the club, the little fans section, outside the fan zone, outside the Lindus now, is good, and I really, whoever said, I know you within reasons you have to provide the facilities, but putting the portaloos out there to ease the already pressure on the facilities inside was a great shout as well. Yeah, so it obviously, of course, it helps. I mean, the more you can pit in or contribute in one way or another outside of your ticket, is definitely obviously a good thing.
Well, can I just say something there? When there was all this BS about where's the money gone and Hallett out and all this nonsense. One thing I don't get, right? Have your say, get all that, right? If you're frustrated, fine. I've got no problem with that. This has hopefully quelmed a lot of that. But those going, oh, I ain't buying a pasty in the ground. I ain't buying a drink in the ground. You can off Hallett because I'm not putting more money in your pocket. It literally is cutting off your nose to spite your face. Because then in the next breath, you'll go, oh, what do you mean we can't afford good players? So, back your club. But we're not Sheffield Wednesday. Our players haven't not been played for months. And I'm not saying that because, it's easy to say Sheffield Wednesday. But the fans have boycotted Chancery. I get that. But it's because he scooped a lot of money out and he hasn't put any money back in, right? Our club's very different. If you look here, it's 27.2 million in 5 years injected by shareholders, of which Simon is the majority shareholder by a ton. To use an Americanism, so I would say 90+% of that money's come out of the Bradford and Bingley of the Hallett family. Yeah, exactly.
The Kane, was it the Kane as well? I think
with the Kane. So you can't knock the man. He's doing exactly what he wants to. What's right for the club. And to say, oh, don't spend any money on match days because it's going to be going to him. I think I made a joke a few months back about Jane and Simon having scrapes on their noses from the Artex of trying to get out of bed with all the cash stuffed under the mattress. It's like, no, it's not. They're probably sleeping on a futon on the floor because they've sold the fucking bed because they need to put 27 million into the club. So look, come on, let's be fair. This fans forum, I think, is a bit out of sync actually because it's normally once a quarter. So doing it in September is a bit early, and obviously before the accounts come out. But I'm not happy clapping. Or I am, I suppose, a bit happy clapping, but I'm not to general degree. If you look at how much physical cash has gone into that business from shareholders, you take that 27 million quid out,
Yeah.
Losses there of how much? 3, 4, 5, about 6. Well, I say 6.9 million. I'm trying to add it up, and there's a total on the end. Losses at 7 million quid. Right. Take that out. There's a massive hole in the balance sheet, or there's 7 million of debt that they're having to service every month.
Actually, on that debt piece, Gavin, I wanted to pick this up because there was a comment in the YouTube thread about it from, I forget the person's name now, but before I come to that, I want to echo as well, when you look at those numbers, and these are the slides, I clipped them while the live was going on just to try and give some context to the show, but for you on it, but I mean, that's a substantial amount of money, for anyone in this day and age. We don't have the billionaire owners and all this. And yes, Simon is still worth a few quid, but to still sideline a huge chunk of your wealth into something that you love, it's a big commitment, isn't it, Gav?
That 27.2 million. Let's just say 20 million of that's from Simon, right? And 7's from other shareholders. I think it's a bit more than that, but let's just keep the number simple. That'll be a third of his net worth. That he's gone, there you go, Jane, get the Bradford and Bingley out. Let's go. Right, there's a check. Boom. Across it goes. Oh, we might not get that back.
Yeah.
We might, but we might not. But Simon, I went on to one of the pods I did 2-3 years ago, completely risk adverse when it comes to debt. Didn't even, they could have got a mortgage to buy the Green Tavern building easy for £1 million. No.
Yeah.
No, Dave Ray was like, we're not allowed. No long-term debt, no short-term debt. Money comes from shareholders, or we don't spend it. So they bought it cash, right, back off of GTs. Most clubs would have gone CCP's in it. It's a 20-year term loan at 6%. There it is. It amortizes over that period. We allow for depreciation. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, right? No, I'm not having any debt in the club. And we're one of very few clubs that the shareholders have not either put a check in and said, I'm going to take an interest coupon on my money and I'll get my cake and eat it. Or they've not gone to the bank and, we look at some of those Premier League clubs, they've got hundreds of millions of pounds of overdraft. We've got nothing. We've got no debt. So we're very, very lucky. And going back to that, sorry, I'm on a rant now.
Go
on. Edwards earlier said that, when players come to the club, they see the good and they see the security and they see the stability that the ownership and the leadership provide. Well, you're never going to be looking over your shoulder to say, am I getting paid this month playing for Plymouth Argyle, are you?
No, and as Hallett referred to Wednesday as well, and I think sort of actually it segues nicely into this as well. But the second point I was going to bring up, Gavin, was that was a question someone said: "Oh, businesses can run with an overdraft facility." So I can't remember it word for word, but he was basically saying it's rubbish trying to sort of stay positive in the black all the time, but you can have an overdraft facility. And I think that, Gavin, you summed up what I was going to say perfectly. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. There's all that risk. You got to pay all that interest. And so if you can sustain it that way, then great. Because as some of us may know, being there myself, once you start borrowing, you then keep on borrowing, and you borrow more, and you think, I'll do this, and then when suddenly things don't go so well and you get relegated, or you possibly, I'm not going to say it, and more bad things happen, and suddenly it's like, we haven't got the revenue then coming in. It's already tight, as you can see from that P&L, that we haven't got the money coming in then. How are we going to pay off these debts? And then it grows and grows and grows until, and correct me if I'm wrong with my basics on this, Gavin, but once your assets that help shore up that debt become negative, you got negative equity, then you're shafted.
You're insolvent. Yeah. So
we're fortunate, guys. We're fortunate because 14 years ago, we didn't went out of business because we were overspending. People got short memories. I'd rather have a club which is on an even keel, sort of not overspending, doing it the right way, than having a club going into administration again.
So on that basis, if you can have a negative balance sheet, but you then as shareholders need to put a statement of going concern. I think that's right, Matt. You can, Ninja Matt, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's called a statement of going concern to say if everyone calls in their debt tomorrow, us as shareholders can basically pop that into the trading account of the company, the cash, and steer any shortfall. So not a great position to be in. I think we've done it right. The problem is there's two types of fan, I think, in football. There's those who are happy to see gradual improvement every year. I'm not talking on the pitch, by the way. I'm talking financially and back office and infrastructure. And those that want to put all on black and press go on the old roulette wheel and say, if it comes in on black, we'll get promotion. If it comes in on red, we're kind of in the shit. And I think most football fans fall into the latter rather than the former. So that they want to spend the millions and millions of quid tomorrow. A, it's not their money, so they don't care. Yeah. B, they want that instant gratification of, oh, we've signed 20 million quid's worth of talent in this window, and aren't we great? And if you don't go up for whatever reason, then you are in the doo-doo. So I think he's doing it the right way. His legacy will be long, and his legacy will be very good when eventually he sells the club. I don't think there's a problem there. If they can, I think at the beginning of the season, they probably looked at their chess pieces on the table and said, we've got enough experience here, and here. We've got some talent that's going to come through. It's going to take us 6-9 months to mature, but overall we're okay. The problem is all the big chess pieces on the table were off the table because they were injured, which meant we were really exposed. That will flip round, and this should all be a distant memory, and Bobby Ewing will pop out the shower at Christmas when we're in the top 10, and it'll have been a dream.
Well, absolutely, and I think that's where it leads us nicely into this segue into this slide. Plymouth Argyle are one of only a few clubs, as Chris Herring reported this week, praising the 2025 Fair Game Index. The annual report from the Fair Game analysed 164 professional and semi-professional football clubs in the English football pyramid. The article does sort of sing their praises about how it's being run. And do you know what? Yeah, fair play to them, because as we've just alluded to, it is too easy just to, to take the wrong angle on it.
Andy, I'm sorry, Mike. I might do a deep dive on that for next week's live lounge. If I'll do a deep dive on it because I want to. If it's entertaining enough to not put everyone to sleep, I'll throw some slides together.
Yeah, no, we always manage to keep everybody's attention, I think, just about. Just look at the comments before I come to this one. Max Scott saying Simon Hallett stand. Voodoo, as my voice goes, ball flew off the wheel. Beidou was a 2 million roulette spin. Probably couldn't disagree with that. And Ninja Matt, saying Gavin, again, speaks the truth. And this is just how, from Gavin's experience of dealing with business, what experience I've got as well over the years of watching a £1 billion business grow, that's how we see it. And yeah, trust me, we've taken some massive risks, or Chris has, I should say, at the range with what we've done over the years. And some of those have come off, some of them don't. But yeah, one thing above all else is look after the pennies, because then they'll look after the pounds. So player trading myths, Andy, this was obviously noted quite... He had a bit of spin on it, but to sort of try and... G up the mood on it, but a bit of banter, I should say. But not everything on Twitter or X, as they've put in there. Gavin, I did have to say, they clearly use PowerPoint here, whereas if any of them are listening, get onto Gamma and check out that.
Don't give our trade secrets away.
No, that's true. Okay. Well, we're not sponsored by them yet. Maybe I should get a sponsor. So not everything you read on there is true. We all sort of get that, but people still love a good rumour, and people do love being a keyboard warrior. Transfer fees are not the same as cash. Some elements are contingent. Although we want to be transparent, it's not a good idea to share all the details of transfers, and they are prevented by EFL regulations. Andy, one of the things we've said a few times is that just because you sell a player for £1 million, you're not getting that £1 million straight away. Simon Hallett said, with the signing of the, I forget his name, is it Isaac or whatever he's called, from Newcastle, the 150 or stupid amount of money, you don't just go and give them that money straight away. It'll be over a long-term payment deal, and that's no different to players in the lower leagues, because people just don't have the cash to hand just to go in and do that. So, no, Ben, Chris will never invest in football ever. So put that one to bed again. But yeah, Andy, I mean, social is what it is now, isn't it? Unfortunately, everybody's got an opinion, and they can put it, rightly so, freedom of speech on these social platforms.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of it, is that everyone has got an opinion, and everyone's entitled to an opinion. Some of those opinions are way off the mark and just knee-jerk reactions and bedwetting, whatever you want to call it. And some of them are reasoned and valid. Like we've had in our forum tonight, we've had a lot of valid comments coming through, from our viewers and stuff. And everyone's got that opinion, and I just think you've got to sort of roll with it, because I don't think they're sort of spinning any yarns here. I think they're telling the truth about transfer fees and stuff, and signing on fees and agents' fees and stuff, and all that sort of stuff that we don't even talk about. We don't even know about.
No, and actually, Andy, to add to that, one of the things Simon said on Pilgrim's Pod before in his interview a couple of months back is, you think that we're getting X amount for these players, but when these players want to go and you cannot stop them, you either pit up and suck it up and keep paying them, and then they don't really perform, and they try and force the issue, and you have to then take what's on the table, and in some cases that isn't recouping what you spent on them and not what you want to sell them for.
Which is possibly what happened to Michael Cooper and Ryan Hardy and people like that. Just going
Randall, exactly,
Randall, all these cut prices.
Yeah, exactly. But at least it looks like the club whoever did the deck was getting a bit of fun with the old AI image generator there for the myths and legends. So, well, Gavin, something that you are sort of going to prepare some notes on as well and discuss, wasn't it, is a balance sheet. So do you want to just look at that and give us a summary?
That's the first time I've seen this, so here we go.
Sorry.
All right, no props.
Put you on the spot.
No, so it's a 25 million. Okay.
Voodoo's comments. So while Gavin just looks at that quickly, Voodoo just said, if you want 100% accurate Twitter comment and in the know info, then follow at Voodoo21 and the odd good video as well when they come out. So
2.7 million of borrowing. I don't know what that is, because I haven't seen. It must be linked to Folkestone Park.
So he's saying in here, possibly. He's saying Argyle don't have a lot of borrowings on the balance sheet. Recent activity has resulted in shareholders making. So this was the shareholders.
It'll be a shareholder loan rather than
low interest,
rather than senior debt. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that makes sense. I just thought, hang on a minute, they must have got a development loan or something in for Folkestone Park, but obviously they haven't. That's fine. That'll be shareholders' funds going in with an interest coupon, I would assume 5-6%, something like that. So they get they keep it in house. It's like soft debt, really. They're not a million. I'm gonna. Can you send me this slide? Because I did a set of projections on mine from the limited knowledge I had, and I'll see. I'll see if I can compare the two and see how wrong or right I was. But look, the net assets 25 million quid. The business is in really good financial health. Looking at this, the cash sums in the bank have obviously dropped considerably, but in year, so in end of 2025, we left with just under 3 million in the bank, and then at one stage, there we go. We had end of 24, we had 10.3.
Or the
so
revenue.
That'll be alarming, I suppose. But
he did, Gavin, just on that, he did explain through a few other slides, obviously, like the TV revenue from being in the Championship, the FA Cup run. There was a slide specifically on each section that he broke down that showed you the difference of what that made having a cup run, against Premier League sides. So, so all that drop off, with things definitely impact.
We could do with another little bit of fortune income this year, another little cup run somewhere, or get to the final of the Carabao. The Virtu or something. Because I think that netted us about 800k to £1 million last time. That cup run, so that would be nice actually. And then, if I'll be honest, but yeah.
Yeah, then player budget that he went through there. Initial window funding of 1 million, player sales of 3.3, and then used to 2 million of that used to cover the losses. I think that's the other things. Obviously certain fans of a strong, and I think overall there's probably there's a minority in there. I mean, obviously you cannot gauge Twitter as the overarching view of the Argyle fan base, but the club need to manage that that debt, so can't keep pitting into their own pockets all the time. So where you are getting some profit, you're going to pit that back to help service that, which is what they did and have been open about that. So transfer fee budget 25-26, 2.3 million, player wage budget 8 million, giving you a total budget for the 25-26 season of 10.3 million. So
that's all in. That'll be agents' fees. That'll be travel. That'll be meals on the coach. That'll be bottles of water. That'll
relocation.
Be relocation, agents' fees, the whole thing. So they spend. It does, yeah, of course it does. I think 10.3 is going to be top 6, isn't it? It's going to be a top 6 budget in the division. You'd think. A wage budget of 8 million quid isn't going to be too far behind most others either. I would say in the division. If you're looking at 4,000 a week average player, roughly. Let me just try and do some instant maths. What have we got? A playing squad of 29, is it now?
I have no idea, to be honest, mate. Go with that, though.
Okay.
Round it if you want.
So if we got a 29-player playing squad, average wage per week in League One is £4,000. There's just over 6 million, £6.032 million of wages, of weekly wages. That'll be gross wages, but there'll be no ers and ors on top of that. So if you imagine there's another 15, 16% ers and ors on top. That's nearly 7 million quid before you tea. That's an average of 4. So there's probably, on that basis, £1 million quid back in the old Bradford and Bingley for January, for if you need to push on, which is what they do every season anyway. You always have that contingency budget for January, so you can go and spend a bit, or you can bring a player in on low but offer them higher wages, etc., etc. Say free agent at the minute, they'll be expecting a signing on fee because there's no transfer fee.
Yeah. No, look,
So,
that helps. So appreciate that. As always, Gavin. Ninja Matt saying our Twitter audience is not accountants. You never know. Max Scott saying, is there anybody know the net value of the club with football? I suppose obviously you got the assets as one value, and then generally whatever the profit
assets
is
minus liabilities. So
yeah,
I'll do that thing for next week, and I'll try and
that makes sense.
value of the business.
So Steve actually also noting, Steve all in the comments, did hear that in the background actually. So the head of finance, they have had someone on a contract basis. They have now found someone due to start in the next week or so. Let's see if he's if we becomes more aware of him. If we become more aware of him, then Tom Randall. I did see Marcus in the chat on that forum. Joins us in our WhatsApp groups and occasionally on here, sort of saying, "Does this guy exist?" I do believe Chris Errington is hoping to get an interview with Tom, and has been told he does work remotely. It'd be good to hear from him, wouldn't it? So outlook for 2026. So competitive budget, Paul said. For League One, the money has been available through the window. David Fox alluding to that in his interview on Saturday. As I said, money hasn't been the issue with the players they've been trying to get. Continued support, so we're expecting to maintain the strong support of the Green Army throughout. And there was, I think it was around 5 to 6 million, the season ticket sales. And Paul stressed how vitally important that is. Gavin said about it earlier, and I brought up the pasty thing that they said, just buying something. If you're going to moan, yes, you paid your season ticket. If you can contribute in any other way by buying some merchandise or food and beverage, it all helps. But it just goes to show how if you can, over 15,500 pretty much every game at home so far, with those season ticket sales to cover all of that is pretty important. And trust the model. We will continue to be a sustainable club. Spending wisely and reviewing decisions leads to improvements across the club. So it was just a summary of the points, really. The club still is in a sensible financial position. All monies which come in go to support the club and primarily the first team. Again, I alluded to it at the start. He talks about surplus a lot. Effectively, that is the money you're making after after you pay for the goods and the money you earn on them when you've sold them. Money has been spent wisely to maximise the funnel. He did show a funnel for the future of the club. Shareholders are still putting money into the club and certainly not taking it out. Keen to stress that point verbally as well as in the slide here. Sustainability is still the way forward. A next level push involves new investors. Now, there was, let me go back to the group slide, there was one notable thing at the start of the forum tonight, and that was Andrew Parkinson wasn't in attendance. It was noted, I think, by Charlie, I think it was, or whether it was Paul, can't remember now, that he was not able to attend tonight. What do you make of that, Gavin?
Got the sniffles, hasn't he? I don't know.
Yeah, could be.
Back on the M5, M6, I've got no idea.
Yeah.
Did they give a reason? Because I didn't watch the forum.
No, just said unable to attend. So that could be genuine, but I'm sure if you're a conspiracy theorist fan, then maybe there's something behind that. But I think we'll soon find out. I'm sure soon enough.
We'll find out on X, though, Mike. Surely.
Well, yeah, I mean, absolutely, Andy. Hang on, let me just go on there now. If you just take hang on, Voodoo, you said you're the one for the truth. No reason given, as he's just confirmed as well in the chat. So yeah, look, I think overall it was well presented by Paul. I'll give him that. It's sort of been thrown out to, I sort of put it that way, maybe the wrong way of putting it, but to do it. But overall, I think he sort of, and the slides, we all love a good slide, don't we? But he did enough charts to show visually, how these revenue streams and from wherever they come from, merchandise, food and beverage to TV revenue, etc. The overheads, so what obviously it's costing us to fund, the first team squad with the backroom staff as well as a women's team, which Simon said it's about 1% of the revenue goes towards
about 300 grand.
It's a small amount, but he said what he feels then is justifiable. The lady in the audience who actually asked a question that led to that answer said that now since we've been playing at home park, and Gavin will test this on Sunday, she said it's gone from just being maybe 100 or so watching them to I think there was about 1,000 or so you felt there on
1,100
Sunday.
On Sunday. They're missing a trick because they should run a Sunday lunch at the GT building every Sunday because you've got 10%. I mean, you'll do 100 covers for lunch. I'd certainly take my kids there to shut them up, pre-hand and drink copious amounts of beer and get my wife to pick me up. But no, it's a great experience now, and they've got a good coach who's demanding as hell. They were winning 4-0, I think, on Saturday, and she was still barking the orders and bollocking at Charlotte Whitmore for not tracking back. So, look, I think it's great. I think it's a really good position for the club to be in, that they're giving a good bit of cash to the women. I don't think it's enough, but she's a master talented squad there for 300 grand. Bearing in mind that's probably going to be one play average in the squad's players' wages in the first team, and that's all in water bottles, coaches away, salaries, the whole kit and caboodle. They're doing really well, and I think if you can increase that in the future, they climb the league. So I said to my brother on Sunday, if you got to the Championship or God forbid the Premier League here, and it's a much easier rise in women's football, i.e. the capital outlay is not as big. The Arsenal women and the Chelsea women are getting 15, 17, 20,000 there on a Sunday watching it. You could end up with 2 full hung parks every week, one playing in the Champ, one's playing in the Women's Premier League. That'd be fantastic for the club financially.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing, Andy, isn't it? I mean, it's good that the club decided to commit to that, and Simon specifically, sealing that. When you consider the financial situation, it could be too easy just to say, I tell you what, let's just cut back a bit on that. Let's cut back a bit on that, and we'll use that elsewhere. So he's standing firmly by that, and like Gavin said, open up a bit of food as well on that day. But to get 1,000 people in, it's great.
They've got the Mayflower stuff. It's fine, but I'd like to go and have a glass of red and a roast, and then walk up. So that would be the next thing for me. If you've got those regular crowd coming in, then it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it's only going to grow, isn't it? As the women teams do well. And how many goals they scored now in the last 3 games? Was it
I've
18?
watched 2 games at Home Park this year, and it's been the 13-1 to Argyle.
Yeah. Incredible.
So if you want to see goals like you did
Go
on
to the women's
Saturday as well,
matches, yeah.
then carry on going to on the and it's good for the kids. I will take. And probably Carl, when he's off on a Sunday with Sophia, she does go with him to the games on the Saturday. I don't have any tickets for Sophie to go, and she's not here on the Thursdays anymore because they're back to school. But she will sit in on the Saturday night.
So
Sorry?
I paid for me, my brother,
Yeah,
and just 2 of our girls. The other 2 didn't go. £10.
yeah. There you go.
I mean, maybe that's something we can promote on this live. Just
We're doing that now, aren't we?
Team,
I tell you what, they've got a winger called Olivia Francis, Liv, as they call her, who was very good actually with my girls and my niece after the game, who is very Whittaker-esque, great left peg, runs down the wing, cuts in, just missed one. I think she scored 1 or maybe 2 on Sunday. Really good player, ex-Arsenal Academy or something. They play some good stuff. It's not as quick as the men, but they play some good stuff. The patterns of play are actually quite decent. So I was thoroughly impressed, and it gets me out of the shit with the wife for a few hours on a Sunday because I've drunk too much in hospitality on Saturday, and I can take the girls for a few hours. So it's all good. But I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I have to say, I'm a big raving fan.
Yeah, no, look, there you go. And so if you ever needed to, consider going to the women's football on a Sunday, then there's your advertisement for it from Gavin. So big thumbs up there. So what are we in? God, just over an hour and a half. So that's been pretty good. I think, look, people will give their views on the forum. I know there was a few questions asked afterwards, I wasn't able to really listen into intently on that. But I think overall it was probably well received. Charlie did say about the next one being in the new year, and as you alluded to, Gav, it sort of I think was a bit out of sync to the norm. But the club still do those, and I think that's good all round. So so look, from me really, it's Saturday that we're back. If I go to obviously the final slide here, and I'll come to that in a second, actually, what I was just going to say. So Luton away, and obviously, please share, give us a like, follow, subscribe on YouTube if you don't already and are watching us from there. Or if you're not watching us from there, please go in and just give a subscribe. Hit the bell to be reminded when these lives. I tend to schedule them 24 hours beforehand, but we are at the moment regular like clock work. So Saturdays, 8:30 same time for the post match, and obviously tonight, Thursdays, live lounge at 8:30 too. So I'm just checking I've got nothing else here. I did say, and I have to go back to the page 1 on this, that we got a new mug design, which I'm sure Ben Collins, who has a full suite of the existing ones, will want to add to it. I will get a mock-up available. I know Andy's already got his order in for one. So the wrap, that is the wrap. So I've gone for this sort of the home park background as opposed to the PAFC one that we had before, with the Block 9 podcast in white, social logos, and then all things Argyle, because I just kept looking at it and going, for those that either see the shirt like I'm wearing now, and they just go, what the hell's this Block 9 podcast? Although Andy knows firsthand with his T-shirt that causes a conversation starter. But I did want to just put a slogan on there. So all things Argyle, after a multitude of ideas I put to the guys, I just felt that just encompassed what we are about. Ninja Matt saying women's team seems to be losing 200k. If people think that's an issue, they need to take a step back.
They're getting 100 grand of revenue, and that it's costing them 300 grand. I don't see that being a problem at all, quite frankly.
No, exactly. So, final thoughts. So, Gavin, hopefully, fingers crossed, we get a good performance away from home, at least pick up a point. If we do lose, hopefully we give them a good game. But yeah, can we see our first points away on the road this season? Yes,
potentially. I think the bench is much, much stronger than it's been all season. Even though we've still got some, as we discussed earlier, some key players still to come back. I think that's going to be the big tell. So we've got Matthias Ross on the bench, and potentially Galloway, depending on who he picks, who can come in and strengthen the defence, which is great. We've got Law McCabe, this mercurial player we've never seen, who can come in potentially off the bench and slot into the midfield. And we've got Dale, who can come in and slot at the top. So there's 3 key players that can change a game there. You add Tegan Finn to that, who's done it at this level and above, all but in short bursts. It's a much stronger bench, and I think that's the key to going to places like Kenilworth, where you're going to be up against it and probably have a migraine by half time if you're playing in that back 3, because we're going to be bombarded, I think, in terms of balls in our box. But if we can withstand that, great. We've got some talent up front. Talai only needs 1 chance, and he's proved that, and he'll put it away. So I am hopeful. I think if we can curtail their wingers, who are very quick, very pacey, whoever they put in up front, still not going to be tried and tested, because they're going to be new in the door, whether it's Al Hamidi or whether it's Jerry Collins, whoever they play up top, hasn't set the world on fire yet. I think we've got a very good core of the defence with Mitchell. So I'm optimistic. I was optimistic at Cardiff, mind. So I'll reserve judgment. But is there a chance for us to smash and run? Yes, there is.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the fact that, as we showed earlier, Andy, with Mozza on, all of their top goal scorers, all their scorers have all got 1. There's no one that's actually, pitting it more than 1 away for them. But yeah, what's your final thoughts, and are you looking forward to Saturday?
I'm looking forward to Saturday, yeah. My final thoughts are, I think it's going to be a really close game. I'm going to go for, a bit like Steve Vaughan was saying there, 1-1 draw. I think Luton, you said they've had sort of 6 or 7 different scorers, but they know what the back of the net is, and they're at Kenilworth Road. It's a tight little ground. And I'll go there, and if you score first, then I think we can go on and win it. But I think if Luton score first, then it's going to be a test of their character, whether they can sort of come back from that goal down sort of thing. But I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, and I think we'll score first, and it'll be a really tight game. Yeah, and everyone will go home happy.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to go with what I put on the slide deck, and that is 2-1 to us, because why not? Although I'm not doing too bad, I haven't put our predictions up because I've just realised Carl hasn't asked for them. He normally does it. Doesn't mean to say he's the only one, I suppose. But so my prediction, though, I'm going to go 2-1. I'm about joint third, I think, which I'm rubbish at any sort of form of fantasy league type stuff. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm gutted to hear Patterson has got injured as well, and they go again. But as Gavin has said, folks, there is a lot of promising talent on the bench, and also experience now on the bench to add to all of that with the quality. And I think that's going to make it interesting. So on that note, go and get to bed, as we're about to do now. It's been a long evening with the forum as well. So those that have watched that and come in and joined us, really appreciate it. I think we've just breached over 1,000 tonight, which is really good. Like I said, wrong mirror, bloody camera mirrors, so pointing the wrong way. But please go and donate the PAFC displays for that Joe Edwards flag. That'll be incredible to see, and absolutely deserved. And no doubt at some stage a statue will go up for him. But on that note, thanks Gavin, thanks Andy, and we'll